Persuadable. What's going on, boo-boos? My bad. I've been I took a break from some videos, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta listen to my body, and I'm like, I kinda wanna take a fucking week off. So that's exactly what I did. I was playing Ark 2. Shout out to the asshole that killed me and stole my fucking axe. You know how hard I worked to make that little wooden axe? And then every time I feel like I get like better at that game, and I get all these tames, and I got a metal house, assholes come back with C4 and blow shit up. So I'm done. Anyways, let's talk about Identity V, though, because that's kind of why we're here. One of the things, this is my gameplay. Don't make fun of me. I do some stupid shit with my cats. You know, in rank mode, what I've been doing a lot lately is just kind of having fun when I do play rank mode. I've been playing every single hunter you can think of, more so of the fun hunters like Lucino and Ann, and my win rate is fucking awful. It is awful. But I was thinking, right, when I'm playing a lot of these characters, something that pops into my mind is, what could the devs do temporarily to help the weak hunters become stronger, where we don't have to wait like fucking 8 seasons for a buff or whatever it was for Gamekeeper, right? Like, what can the devs do right now, tomorrow, if they wanted to, well, a couple weeks, to make all hunters a little bit more equal? And I thought about this. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And here's the problem. Whenever you make a suggestion like what I'm about to make, it's full of shit, right? Because there's a million things that you can say as to why the idea is shit, right? But here's the problem. It takes a long time to buff a character. There's a development team. They call it the battle team. There's just a whole bunch of shit, and they got to put on the test server. So it's like, all right, we get balancing. They do a decent job at least addressing the survivors and hunters, whether we agree with them or not. They at least pay attention. I genuinely believe that some of these hunters would be relatively fine if you just increase the amount of persona points that they're allowed to have relative to the numbers that are suggesting whether they're strong or not. The thing is that it's hard to do this because there's always a select few of really, really good players with these hunters, even the bad ones, or lower tier ones. You know, I think we got some guy on our server who has like a 91% win rate that uses Ann. You know what I mean? But there's an overwhelming majority of people. The devs initially said before Ann's buff that she was the #1 tied hunter. She was good at securing ties, and that's it. And we all know ties fuck up our win rate. But if you were to take some of the hunters who aren't as strong as some of the other hunters and you increase the amount of persona points, they could be a little bit more deadly. Hear me out on this, right? So for Ann, for example, you have to build north with Ann. You absolutely have to build north with her. Because if I stun you with my cat and you throw a pallet down, unless I have north build with maximum pallet speed, whatever, I won't be able to hit you in time. So if I have no points in pallet speed dismantling, you can actually run behind the pallet and I'll take the pallet down and I won't be able to hit you ever, like under any circumstance. So you have to build north. You have to build north in order to use her ability, which kind of sucks because then you're also kind of forced to choose south because really a lot of her anti-rescue is based on making sure they don't rescue before half. It's not actually being able to get the terror shocks unless you're lucky, just like you would with photographer, etc. So if you increase the amount of persona points for somebody like Ann in terms of her build, she's a relatively decent character, but there's other things you could do. If you were to give her an extra 30 persona points, she'd actually be able to build Trump's card. She'd be able to build detention, and then she'd be able to build a little bit in terms of attack recovery speed or whatever, and she would have a short game and a late game. Right now, one of the best ways to use her is to use teleport in the beginning because you need it late game because you don't have Trump's card and you have to have the ability to move around, but not everybody plays her like that, and it's a big fucking circle of who knows what the fuck to do. Excuse the French. So I'm just using Ann as an example, but there's plenty of characters who would do better if you could allow them extra points to actually maximize their build. Like one of the things with Ann is to maximize anti-rescue. But when you maximize like the rocket chair speed, the 9%, that takes a lot of points, and you have to build south and dedicate yourself to it. I think that a short-term fix for a lot of these characters, why they're imbalancing, is the devs really looking at the persona points for each hunter and possibly allocating more persona points for some of the hunters. Now, will it be a game changer in the sense of, now every hunter is going to be S tier? No, that's not what I'm shooting for. I'm just shooting for the hunters who struggle more than the majority of the other hunters and finding a short-term fix where you're just allocating a few more points in order to make them equal. That can really go a long way. As an example, again, Anne, the best way to really use her is your ability to prevent that first rescue using your cats to slow them down, but you have to use detention because at the end of the day, you can't stuff them like Bonbon and Sculptor. Now, I don't think that we should take away persona points from the meta hunters, not necessarily, but I do believe that if we increase the amount of persona points for these hunters, they'll at least be a short-term fix while the devs continue tinkering with each and every one of these hunters. And I think that would be a good thing. How many points they give them, what is that based on, what sort of metric do they use, I don't know. But I think it would be a decent idea instead of giving a static number to every hunter. I'd like to hear your opinion. Tell me what your beliefs are in this. And hey, Happy New Year 2021, baby. Let's go.